So this week, I'm going to do something a little different again. I mean, I did something a little different last week. We're going to do something a little different again this week. Last week, I showed you the records I had picked up throughout the month of August. Well, for this week, we're going to take a look at the very first record I bought. I bought it in 2015, October of 2015, so coming up on 2 years of me record collecting, and I've collected almost 100 records myself, not including what my dad would have or what my mom would have that's still lying around. This is just almost 100 records that I have gone out and purchased or collected, or stuff like that. And it would be to nobody's surprise that it would be Genesis. It is Duke by Genesis. So this came out 1980. It is probably my all-time favorite Genesis album, and if you talk amongst the prog rock group, you will either see this as a great band that wanted to try and make it through the 80s, or you saw it as the downfall of a progressive rock band turning into, the top 40s pop band. I don't look at it either way. I just look at it as a great album with great tracks. And it was an album where, Phil Collins' presence became more apparent. He started writing more songs, and these songs, to certain people, they don't have a place on a Genesis record. They have a place on a Phil Collins record, obviously, because they're his songs, but they don't fit the core of Genesis to some people. I don't agree with that statement. I think that, some of these songs are probably some of the best they ever did. But I'll get into that a little later. So, you got the album artwork done by Lionel Cochelin, a French artist. This is Albert. It is done in the style of l'alphabet d'Albert, which is Albert's alphabet, obviously. And it's got all these cool, I'll probably do this in B-roll probably, but it's got all these cool little doodles all throughout the gatefold, and the lyrics are all printed out in Cochelin's handwriting, and I think that's really cool. You don't always see that with albums nowadays. You might get an insert of lyrics or something, but this really had a personal touch from the artist, and I think that was really cool. As the last album to feature David Henschel as producer and engineer. After this, they would switch to Hugh Padgham, who Phil would work on in the same year, 1980, to produce Face Value and Peter Gabriel's third album. But getting to the music, you have Behind the Lines. Behind the Lines is a great song, has a huge open, these loud crashing drums. Again, Phil Collins becomes more apparent on the album, and it's there right from the get-go, from all that big soundscape of the drums, and it's fantastic. And he does a cover of it on his first album, Face Value, and it is also phenomenal. Like, it goes from this magnum opus to this sort of jazz vibe, da 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 la, instead of that sort of prog pop they were going for. Then it moves into Duchess, which has a really, really great transition. It just gently fades into the song, and it features the Roland CR78, the drum machine, which again is another topic of hot debate. I think it's fantastic. I think it sounds great, and it really helps make the track what it is. You have Misunderstanding, another fantastic song. Probably one of my all-time favorite Genesis songs, if we're talking pop, the pop side of Genesis. If we're talking the prog side of Genesis, that's a whole different story. it's like a combination of Sail on Sailor and Hold the Line. And I think Phil Collins has said that before. And it really works. And it's a great song. And it's kind of, for me at least, it's kind of like that summertime song. It's that song you really want to listen to in the summer. You know, you're cruising down the road, the sun's out. You know, really great song for that. You've got Turn It On Again, which originally wasn't supposed to be a really long song. Well, long in the sense it was like 3 or 4 minutes. It was meant to like bridge the gap. And so it wasn't supposed to be a full song. It was just supposed to be something in between the first side of the record. And they turned it into something that it just becomes this like feel-good song. Really, really great track. Another one of my top pop side of Genesis tracks. You got Alone Tonight, very personable song. You know, it has these touching lyrics, and whoever, you know, conveys the message, you feel for that person, you know. And that's the thing I like about Phil Collins' writing, is that he writes in a way that you feel that pain, you understand that pain. And I think that's great. I wish he would still write music, because I want more of that, because it's so powerful. Cul-de-sac, another great song. It's a good long song, and it's just a song you get lost in. You're lost in the lyrics, you get lost in the instrumental of it, and you know, it's a song that just takes you to a whole nother dimension, and I think it's fantastic. Please Don't Ask, that is a very sad song, but it's another personable song. It's basically Phil Collins opening up about his pain, his divorce, without naming any names. It was his way of truly expressing the pain and the anguish that he felt. And he took it to Genesis, and it became, you know, even more than that. It became even more personable, and I think it's a fantastic song for that reason. And then to top it all off, you've got Duke's Travel and Duke's End. Great instrumental. And you know, with Genesis's later stuff, you have to have that one song that's sort of like prog. It's sort of prog. It might not sound prog to someone who is a total prog head and, you know, only thinks that the 70s prog is the ultimate prog and no other prog should be listened to, you know. But it's that long song. It's got that new 80s prog feel, and it's just a song that you paint the picture in your head and you get lost with it. And I think that's fantastic. You need more of that in the mainstream music, quite honestly. You know, not everyone's gonna do that, because, why would we do that? It's just an instrumental track. Whoa, no one's gonna listen to that. But anyway, that is a look at my very first record, bought in 2015, October of 2015, almost 1 year to the day. Holds a special place in my heart. Not because it's my favorite Genesis record, but because it started me down a path of collecting records, but not just, you know, collecting a physical medium. I started to experience albums more because of this. I started to, you know, when you listen to music now, you play the songs that you want. You play your favorites. You play the playlists. You don't play the albums. With these, you buy the album, you sit down, and you experience the album, whether it has great songs, whether it has bad songs. You know, you're in there for the ride, and Duke started me down that path, and, you know, that's great. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, consider hitting that like button. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.